What's up, Your Voice Thailand listeners? Welcome to episode 9. My name is Yuri. I'm a teacher at Wall Street English Bangkapi, and I'm joined with Coach Chief. Chief, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And Teacher M, how are you?
Yeah, all good in the hood, thanks.
We bring you stories and conversations about culture, society, and education in Thailand every week.
So, this week, Yuri, what have you been thinking about?
Right. Well, January 6th, last Wednesday, was a sad day for America and I think for world democracy. There was an attack on the U.S. Capitol while the government was in session. Like, January 6th was based on a lie that the election was stolen. It's come to this climax of 2020, 2021, Trump, coronavirus, anti-police, conspiracy theory groups, guns, militias, which are like private armies. People don't trust each other. There's mass unemployment. And here we are. It's like Europe before World War I.
Right.
It's a tinderbox.
Right. Yeah, all the skeletons are coming out of the closet and things are getting laid bare that they've been trying to cover up for a very long time. And people are waking up to, the real issues now. So,
and it's such a shame because I imagine that come spring this year, we would have a general strike with the police, with farmers, with teachers, with firefighters, with bakers, small business owners, union leaders, would all be out on the streets as in a general strike fighting for economic equality. And instead, we have people out on the streets, but they're fighting against each other. These are people who I think should be natural allies. We should be naturally friends. Police should be friends with plumbers, taxi drivers, because they're people who get paid a medium to lower amount of money, and we're struggling in this country together. But with the situation as it is, I mean, we're fighting against each other. It's exactly, I hate to say it, but it's what the elites want. It's what the rich want. Yeah, and one more thing, Trump got banned from Twitter, so you can imagine how his followers feel about that.
Right. It's such a stressful time for everybody, I think, especially people living in Washington, D.C. But I saw quite an interesting quote on, I think it might have been from the Sunday Times, British newspaper. But they quoted saying, it's like trying to play whack-a-mole with Donald Trump at the moment because he keeps popping up on Twitter under all these different email addresses and trying to create new Twitter accounts and new social media accounts that they're, constantly playing catch-up, trying to get him off because he's being very childish. And
he is the president of the United States, so if he wants to get a message out there, he can. He can issue a press release and he can... The news will listen to him. He is the president.
Right. So
he's not silenced, really. But he did get removed from Twitter, and that's really important for him. This whole thing is really serious, and, you have to laugh at tragedy.
Right.
We got to make fun of it a little bit. We have people in America killing each other in the streets, like more and more. And this is new for me, but I know this isn't new for other parts of the world, even here since I've lived here. We had the coup in 2014, and oh my gosh, so many things before that. There's been political violence, so I know it's not new to you here, right, Chief?
For me, I'm surprised because it happened in America, but for the violence, it's not different from Thailand, and I don't want to see the violence happen around the world by the democracy. But yeah, I don't want to see it happen in your country, same as Thailand.
And when I say it's a sad day for democracy, America's not a perfect democracy, but it is a symbol of democracy. And when that falls apart, it makes it much tougher for countries that are trying to be democracies to actually achieve that. So I think there'll be effects throughout the whole world from this.
Do you think that the Capitol's decision not to impeach him 2 weeks before he hands over the title to Joe Biden, do you think that's a good decision? I'm just reading the news now, and on Sky News, they're actually talking about Vice President Mike Pence is rejecting the vote to oust Donald Trump under the 25th Amendment.
So he will be impeached, actually.
He will be impeached.
He will be impeached.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean he will be removed. There's another step for that.
But even though if he gets impeached again, because this will be his second impeachment while he's been in office.
Right.
So that doesn't stop him from running for president again in 4 years' time, right?
They can bar him. They can
Right.
prevent him.
They can.
They can. Yes.
Okay.
If this is successful, he won't be able to run again.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't turn into something worse, like, World War One, World War Two. Hopefully those, emergency repairs can be made to the economy, to the society, for the people, without it becoming a big thing. But I wish you good luck, Yuri, for America.
Yeah. I have a whole list of fears, including Taiwan being taken by China while we're distracted by our domestic issues.
And including Hong Kong in that as well.
Yeah, Hong Kong's we already lost it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I try to summarize the story about the Donald Trump.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and okay, I understand the Donald Trump already. Yeah,
Right.
and then when he speak, when the follower listen to him, right, and they say okay, China, okay, Iran, okay, everythingเกียน keyboard ไหม In Thai we call a เกรียน keyboard I put emotion on my speed, no logic. I try to protect you. Okay, don't okay, don't believe me. Just don't. How do you say อย่าหลงคารมฉันปล่อยฉันทำแล้วจะดีเอง
Yeah. Let me take care of it and you'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll solve all your problems. Which he said exactly. I will solve all your problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. He's all talk.
So, but I want to see after he become a citizen. What about Iran and him?
It's like a movie. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
January 20th at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, Washington, D.C. time. He'll be a private citizen again.
Yeah,
And you can see.
yeah.
So, Chief,
Okay.
yeah, what have you been thinking about this week?
Okay. I listened to Mission to the Moon channel about self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yes, if you have a low self-awareness, you should change yourself. One of thing that I remember is if you are fears of mistakes, you have to change yourself. Because it happened to our student a lot when they try to study English and then, when they got repeat or when they got comment from the teacher about their skill. They try to avoid and then they disappear. Or finally they become inactive student because they don't want to listen about the comment. They don't want to repeat again.
Right.
And this one is I try to change their mind, but it's become worse until I don't want to talk to them anymore about this one. Yeah, and then when I listen to this podcast, it's one of the things that I try to mention to them. It's not easy to study English, even me. When I try to pronounce, but I want to face the problem and try to understand the problem. It's good for you if you know how much do you know yourself. If you know you have the weakness, you should fix it, not ignore it. Most of the people, they just ignore and then they try to leave it behind. But actually, you should fix it now and then try to improve.
I think for some people, when they're given advice about how to improve a situation, especially as a teacher, when we give advice to students, it's up to the student whether they want to listen to that advice and try to improve. But for some people, it's just easier to ignore the problem and pretend that everything is fine and, they're really good at English and they don't really need to listen to this advice. It's not worthwhile for them. So I think a lot of people would benefit from, learning about self-awareness and how to make small changes to improve, in the long term.
How do you say self-awareness in Thai?
They don't have this one.
Really?
รู้ตัวเอง
การรู้ตัวเอง Yeah, maybe, yeah. ต้องรู้จักตัวเอง
รู้จักตัวเอง Nice, awesome. What's the name of the podcast?
Mission to the Moon.
It's a cute
Yeah.
name. I like it. So, Chief, what's this week's word of the week?
Our word of the week is rubbernecking. For example, Yuri, why is there so much traffic
there's so much traffic because everyone's rubbernecking at the car accident. So what's the definition of rubbernecking?
Rubbernecking is usually when people stare at car or motorcycle accidents.
Chief, how do you say that in Thai?
Thai Mung. Do people in your country do it?
Yeah, all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Rubbernecking is a childhood hobby. I like to rubberneck when I was a kid. My mom would say to me, "Hey, rubberneck for me," because I'm driving.
Okay. So not just only Thai.
No.
Right. It's universal around
Yeah.
the world.
Universal ทั่วโลกมุง not Thai Mung.
And what do you call a person who is rubbernecking?
A rubbernecker.
So, Yuri, you were a rubbernecker as a child.
I was, and I still am, but I'm a safe rubbernecker now. I just took a short look,
A short glimpse
a short glimpse.
of what's happening.
Yeah.
You don't pull over and take pictures. And
Who's a bigger rubbernecker over here?
GIF, for sure. Every time. I don't have time to look. I'm driving all the
Yeah,
time.
you got to be safe.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just have to close my eyes.
I just did last night.
What'd you see?
Because like the opposite room, the room opposite of my room in condominium, you know, like they have some annoying sound, and I try to know what happened, and I turn on like a
Oh.
yeah, how do you say like the cat
The
hole,
spy hole
the spy hole,
in the door.
yeah, and then like okay, they have a fight.
That's not a rubbernecker though. That I would call that a curtain twitcher.
Ooh.
Oh really?
Yeah, because you're trying to see what the neighbours are doing. Like, what are they doing? What are they talking about?
And
Ooh.
what happened?
Yeah, you're a curtain twitcher, Chief.
Twitcher.
What would you call it, Yuri?
Well, you're using your eyes, but I think if you're using your ears, only it'd be an eavesdropper.
Eavesdropper, yeah, that would be a good one.
Oh, I have a question. If it definition like a Thai Mung, like the rubbernecker, why they don't usually pass S? Because it's not just only you, right?
Yeah, so I can say to Yuri, you are a rubbernecker because it's one person. But if I want to address Yuri and Chief, I can say, oh, why are you rubbernecking? Yeah, as a verb.
Okay.
But if I want to talk about plural many people, I can say they are rubberneckers, and we can add S in the plural
okay.
form.
So we agree that all three of us are
Rubberneckers.
in this room. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Admit it, yes.
Yuri, how do you spell rubbernecking?
Rubbernecking. RUBBERNECKING. So it's like rubber, like the material, and neck.
Like
Rubber
the body
neck.
part.
Yeah, the body part.
Super.
That's the show for this week.
Don't forget to check out next week's show. We are doing an LGBTQ plus special edition featuring some of our students and staff from Wall Street English Bangkapi.
We want to hear your thoughts. Send us a message or record yourself into a voice memo at yourvoiceTH on Instagram.
Also, if you've got any questions for next week's LGBTQ plus episode, please also send those over to @yourvoiceTH.
Don't forget to watch Joe Biden's inauguration on January 20th to see American democracy in action. And
See you next week!